Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Simply Colorful Fibercast. Today's date is November 27th, 2020. My name is Lynn Marquidon, and I'm your host. Happy day after Thanksgiving. I'm so glad you could join me. Grab your project, and let's see what we can accomplish together in the next few minutes. Might be 30, might be 45, might be 60 minutes. Whatever it is, whatever little chunk of time you can carve out to work on something that's important to you is wonderful. You'll be amazed at how much you can get done. So first off, I wanted to show you progress on my Dear Jane quilt. It is quilted. I did a stipple all over it, and I'm very pleased with how it came out. I was a little worried that it might interfere with the quilting, with the blocks, but I did it in cream. And the backing is this batik, which I found it was kind of ironic because I used the backing that I had here on hand has snowflakes on it. But this is kind of a beachy theme, was how I started out this quilt. So it's kind of a combination of multiple seasons. But in any event, we are getting closer to being done. Our goal is to finish it in 2020. So we have a month left to now create the scallop, and then the binding. So that is on my plate to do, and I'm going to set it out on a big table and find something that has the right diameter to make the scallop. It's just a little scallop. If you look at the Dear Jane quilt, the original one that's in Bennington at the Bennington Museum has just a little scallop. And that's all I'm going to do. And then I'm going to bind it in a blue, I'm pretty sure, not too dark and not too light. So that's my plan. And just wanted you to know that had been done. And then I finished the dog. Oh boy, it's a big one. It measures, well, I quilted it 88 inches by 88 inches. When it's done with the scallop, it'll be down to about 82 by 82. Finished our two dog coats for Buster. He looks so darn cute in them. Here's his Christmas one. And here's the one that I just love. This is that fabric from Japan. And I popped it in the washing machine and it washed up very nicely. I've discovered that when I go out and take him for a walk and it's raining, these are terrible. They get all wet and they weight him down. And the poor little thing only weighs 14 pounds. This is Buster. That I really need a raincoat version of this. So that's next on my list. But these are good. And he shivers, man, if you don't put something on him. So we're figuring that out. And I'm just going to be sewing. Sewing today. What are you all working on? Who's out there? And I've got we're going to talk about what happened today in history. Thought that might be fun. And talk about Thanksgiving. It's always, holidays are so much fun, and it's always nice when the day after holiday is nice because there are fewer expectations on the day after a holiday. And do you think I could find a piece of sandpaper easily? I could not. I'm just making half square triangles. And when you draw a line down the middle, if you put sandpaper underneath, it keeps it from shifting. But this is working pretty darn well. I'm using the method where I'm going to sew a scant quarter of an inch on either side of this line and then cut it in half. See, I'm putting right sides together. So there isn't too much of an update around here. Let's see what we can talk about. We cooked a big old turkey here because the big old turkey, well, for all sorts of reasons. It's what we always do. We love turkey. It's good leftovers. It was cheaper to buy a bigger turkey than it was to buy a little turkey. Go explain that. Actually, I can't explain it, but I won't bore you. And so we had a side of Brussels sprouts and potatoes that were delicious. The little fingerling potatoes that actually were purple. Those are very cool and tasty. And stuffing and turkey and cranberry sauce. And that was it. I didn't even cook the squash. So we'll have that on another night. I have a butternut. And what else did we do? We played with the dog. Buster is doing great. Went to bed early, took a nap, same old, same old. Hi, Mom. I'm so glad you're out there. I love your wreath that you're making. I learned today that the wreaths that you make, that I now am making, because you taught me, they require a lot more greens than I thought they would. Hi, Joanne. Have I been to see the original Dear Jane quilt? Do you know I have not? Although I take that back. I probably have seen it hanging when it was on display with the plain and fancy Vermont quilts. Maybe, but I can't tell you for sure. It's in that book, and my grandmother's quilt is in that book. But no, Bennington, I've never been to the Bennington Museum, and I definitely want to go. Oh my goodness, Joanne. That's cool. Did I know that? Oh, so you're from Vermont. Oh, do you live near the college? Wow. Or the pottery, Bennington pottery? That's about all I know. My grandmother lived in Northfield, Vermont, which was north of you. How fun is that? So I bet you've been to see the Dear Jane quilt. I live right in town. Oh, how fun. Oh. Wow. I love that we get to meet people that are from around the country and, in fact, around the world. Yep. So I started Dear Jane, this quilt right here. I looked back January 7th, 2012. And I started it at my friend Sarah Kokanowski's business office. She had a wholesale embroidery supply company here in our area. And she invited a group of us to come over and start to make the Dear Jane quilt. And she had taken the class from Brenda Papadakis, and she told us about all the different methods for different blocks and really introduced us to the whole concept. I think she was the only one that had the software at the time, and she was printing out paper piecing patterns for us, I think. Oh, by the way, if Joyce is on. Oh, Joanne, you've seen it and you took in a lecture. That's great. Wow. I was just rereading it that she is She lived in Craftsbury. I should go get that right now. If anyone wants to read it. I don't think she ever had children, right? But her sister did, had a lot of them. And she had a lot of family that was in the Civil War. The original Dear Jane quilt was completed in 1863. And it has over 5,000 pieces. Anyway, I started mine in January 2012, so it has taken me 8 years. How ironic, it took me 8 years to put the top together. This is kind of interesting. 8 years to put the top together, and I was able to quilt it in one day on my long arm machine. Times have changed, huh? Okay, I think I'm ready to sew. Sew a few. How fun. Which is just 8 miles from where I live. Wow. Shaftesbury, thank you. Wow. I have this dream that someday I'll live in Vermont again. I wonder if it will ever happen. That's my latest dream. I dream different dreams every day. Okay. Hi, Karen Marinelli. Eating turkey leftovers and watching. Oh, that sounds yummy. Hi to TG, Bob, and Tom if they're there. That sounds so good. I saw you did you make Grammy's rolls? We had a nice Zoom call yesterday at 4 with Bob's side of the family, including a nephew that has two children, one who's 2.5 and one who's 3 months old, 2 little boys. And they were kind enough to dial in and share the kids with us, and they were just adorable. So leftovers are good. Hi, Carol Oulette. Oh, that's okay. You haven't missed much. And hi, Carol Ritter. Happy Thanksgiving. So nice to know you're all out there. What have you missed? Carol, you've missed, well, Joanne lives in the town where the original Dear Jane quilt is stored in Bennington, Vermont. My Dear Jane quilt is quilted. So now all I have to do, I have a month left to meet my deadline to put the scallop on and to bind it. So I wanted you to know that. And I'm just sewing. I'm making half square triangles. So that's all. Weren't Connor and Keegan, have I got the names right? Weren't they adorable on the Zoom? I thought they were pretty darn cute. And I thought that was really nice of James and Holly to dial in, even when James was busy cooking the meal, I think. They had a lot going on. Hi, Kathy Klein. Yeah. Oh, you started your Dear Jane in 2005. Have 2 more rows of blocks to make. Oh, Kathy. Oh, keep going. It feels so good. Oh, my hair needs to be cut. I tell you, I did just a stipple all over, and I'm really pleased with it. I'm glad that I didn't have to labor on any custom quilting. The blocks individually aren't good enough for it, but so anyway, I highly recommend just the stipple when you get to that point. Unless are you doing quilt as you go? Or will you do hand quilting, or will you do quilting on your machine? Anyway, I'm glad you're out there, Kathy. I've missed you on Open Sews. I bet you're busy with your family. Happy Thanksgiving. Carol Ritter, what are you working on? I keep thinking to myself, oh, just one more, and then I'll start sewing. Did you see I'm using a pink cafe? KB will know the name of it. Is that Millifor? Nothing right now, Carol. You must be busy. Although you have to get in the mood, don't you? I found the last month or so, I think because we've been getting used to the new dog, at night I've not been doing anything but sitting in the recliner with the dog, yawning, feeling lucky to have a dog, but it means I'm not getting much done. Okay, so I have never done 1/4 of an inch on this particular machine. Let's see. Here's what I want, I think. Did you guys hear the silly thing I did? Did I tell you this? It's darker. Oops, I have the wrong bobbin in. I brought my Bernina to be cleaned, and I forgot that I have to embroider labels for the quilts the t-shirt quilts that I'm making. So it's gonna and I called them last Friday, and they say it will be done by December 22nd. So, but I was able to find out that they do not ship it out. They actually do the cleaning there. So worst case, I can go pick it up, do my embroidery, and bring it back, which will be a pain. But that shows you how much I depend on that machine. Oh, this might not work either. Oh, let's try it. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Hello. That's not working. Huh. Well, this might slow us down. What's going on? Okay. Sorry, everyone. Okay, I just need to make sure I'm putting this in the right way. In there, down and around. Let me put the other foot on just for kicks. That's weird. Well, yes, Carol, not in the mood to sew. I hear you. KB, I have some extra feet for that machine I can send you. Oh, I think not yet. I may have just broken it. Uh-oh. This is not going to make for good pod. Ugh. Let's rethread it. That is so weird. I don't know what's going on here. It's Aurifil thread. Okay. There. Aurifil thread here. That was weird. Well, we're back in business. Love the quilt behind you. Did you make it? Carol asks, I did not. Isn't that great? It's a customer's quilt. Actually, 2 customers. They both made it. Isn't it lovely? It's very intricate because these are the stars are meant to be the bow on the wreaths. It's fun. Okay, I want a chain piece here. Let's see if we can make this work. All right, let's take a look at it. Oh, it makes a nice stitch. I do love this Janome. KB, I have lots of feet. I don't know what feet I will need other than, I think I'm good. I think. It's all manual. There isn't any electricity on this. There we go. We're in business now. know, and there's no automatic cutter or lever to lift up the foot, but still works great. Okay. I want the stitch to be smaller though, I think. We go. So let's look at what happened on this day in history. Hi, Hallie. Down under. Happy Saturday morning. Oh, Carol asks, how is the long arm division these days? Booked. Really good. We've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 t-shirt quilts still at different levels of in process. 2 of them I already machine quilted, so I only have to machine quilt 3 more. But I have to do the binding on those 2 that are done. I have 8 here that have to be done next week, but it's so good. Thanks for asking. No, and they haven't, the machine quilting division personnel haven't rebelled yet. I think they're the right level of busy and not too busy, you know. My partner there, who was making t-shirt quilts, is a senior at Penn State, and she has been in touch. In fact, I have to reach out to her. She's going to swing by here December 13th and drop off any quilts that she may have done. I wonder how many she's working on. She goes to the Cape to stay with her parents over the holiday. So I told her, she asked me how many I could do, and I said, go for it. I think I can do whatever you can funnel. I could eat those words. I was much more concerned about the pipeline last week being too much before Christmas, but I feel like I'm caught up, and I did bid on 1 more t-shirt quilt. I'm waiting to hear back on that one because that would be fun. It's a quilt made of Chillmark Road Race t-shirts. So a king size one. Oh, and I think Allie, I'm sorry. Allie says, late to the party. Love the quilt behind you, Lynn. I'll be starting on a mystery after Mackenzie goes home. Oh, how is Mackenzie? I remember when she was born. Wow. I bet you're having fun. Ah. I'm cranking. I know it's not very good pod. Let's look at what's happening in history on this day. So again, November 27th. Oh, happy birthday to Jean Marquidant. Okay, Jimi Hendrix. Who knew Jeannie Marquidant shared a birthday with Jimi Hendrix? He was born in 1942, however, a few years before Jeannie, one or two. Just kidding. She's not on here to hear me say that. Guitar legend Jimi Hendrix was born in Seattle. He grew up playing guitar, imitating blues greats like Muddy Waters, as well as early rockers. Get this, T.G. Bob, if you're out there, you probably know this. He joined the Army in 1959 and became a paratrooper, but was honorably discharged in 1961 after an injury that exempted him from duty in Vietnam. I wonder what kind of injury. In the early 1960s, Hendrix worked as a pickup guitarist, backing musicians including Little Richard, B.B. King, Ike and Tina Turner, and Sam Cooke. In 1964, he moved to New York and played in coffee houses, where bassist Brian Chandler of the British group The Animals heard him. Chandler arranged to manage Hendrix and brought him to London in 1966, where they created the Jimi Hendrix Experience with bassist Noel Redding and drummer Mitch Mitchell. The band's first single, Hey Joe, hit number 6 on the British pop charts, and the band became an instant sensation. Wow. Well, that's neat. Oh, fast forward to 2005, also in music history, Aerosmith and 50 Cent worked together on a $10 million bar mitzvah. They were headline performers at the famous Rainbow Room in the early morning hours of November 27th. Let's see. See if it says for whom. Long Island 13-year-old Elizabeth Brooks. So Elizabeth, if you're out there, you're now 28. Happy birthday. If this was in fact your birthday. A day. Okay. Ooh, in 1703, who knew they were doing, here's some weather news. An unusual storm system dissipates over England after wreaking havoc on the country for nearly 2 weeks. Wow. Carol and Ann, do you hear that? Yikes. Hurricane strength winds, the storm killed somewhere between 10 and 30,000 people. Oh my goodness. Hundreds of Royal Navy ships were lost. This was in 1703, a freak storm. The unusual weather began on November 14th as strong winds from the Atlantic Ocean battered the south of Britain and Wales. Many homes and other buildings were damaged by the pounding winds, but the hurricane-like storm only began doing serious damage on November 26th. With winds estimated at over 80 miles per hour, bricks were blown from some buildings and embedded in others. Wood beams separated from buildings flew through the air and killed hundreds across the south of the country. Towns such as Plymouth, Hull, Cowes, Portsmouth, and Bristol were devastated. Wow. However, the death toll really mounted when 300 Royal Navy ships anchored off the country's southern coast with 8,000 sailors on board were lost. The Eddystone Lighthouse, built on a rock outcropping 14 miles from Plymouth, was felled by the storm. All of its residents, including its designer, Henry Winstanley, were killed. Huge waves on the Thames River sent water 6 feet higher than ever before recorded near London, and more than 5,000 homes along the river were destroyed. Wow. The author, Daniel Defoe, who would later enjoy worldwide acclaim for the novel Robinson Crusoe, witnessed the storm, which he described as an army of terror in its furious march. His first book, The Storm, was published the following year. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. Back in 1703. Yikes. Okay. Let's see what else happened, and then I'll get back to sewing. In 1911, a White House housekeeper fretted over William Howard Taft's waistline. Like, as if presidents don't have enough to worry about. Okay. So Elizabeth Jaffrey, a White House housekeeper, writes in her diary about a conversation she had with President William Howard Taft and his wife about the commander-in-chief's ever-expanding waistline. God. Hang on, we need more here. We need to know more about this. According to the White House Historical Association, Jaffrey was also quoted regarding Taft's growing girth in a 1926 book called Secrets of the White House. In it, she detailed a typical breakfast consumed by the 332-pound president: 2 oranges, a 12-ounce beefsteak, several pieces of toast and butter, and a vast quantity of coffee with cream and sugar. When she and Taft's wife Nellie commented on his eating habits, he jovially responded that he was planning to go on a diet, but lamented the fact that things are in a sad state of affairs when a man can't even call his gizzard his own. Taft's 5-foot, 11-inch frame carried anywhere between 270 and 340 pounds over the course of his adult life. According to his biographers, he had to have his shoes tied by his valet. Ooh. And often got stuck in the White House bathtub and had to be lifted out by 2 or more men. Oh, geez. Once, while visiting the Tsar of Russia, Taft split his pants seam while descending from a carriage. His weight did not stop him from serving a full term as president, nor did it prevent him from accepting a subsequent appointment as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. He was the first and only president to hold both offices. In fact, he successfully dropped down to 270 pounds after leaving the White House. Although he rarely drank more than the occasional beer and did not smoke, his obesity and a lifelong struggle with severe sleep apnea eventually took its toll. In March 1930, he retired as Chief Justice, citing poor health. He died the following month from heart failure. Wow. How's that? Man, when you're famous, people know all the sordid details of your life. How much you weigh. Can you imagine? I think that would be why I would not run for president. Carol says, not looking forward to next week. I hear that we are to be getting a lot of snow. Yes, I do, Carol. I want you to send some my way. Yes, that's right. You're up in the Minnesota area. Do I remember that right? Oh, but you know what? That's the perfect time to do something creative inside. Maybe it'll put you in more of a mood to do it, possibly. But yes, I would love it here to come here. I'm ready. Maybe not bunches of it. Maybe just enough to look pretty. Hopefully, Carol, you don't have to go out too much. Oh, excuse me. Anyone out there like me, now when I see TV commercials, oh, excuse me, I have the hiccups, with people wearing masks, I have this thought, a kind of incredulous thought. I can't believe we're living in this time of COVID. I just can't believe we have commercials with people really masking up to be out with other people. It's just surreal. Oh, Carol, I'm making half square triangles. That's what I'm doing. I'm having fun. I'm glad you're out there. What are you working on, Carol? I miss our sewing days. When you would come over with Michelle and Deb. If Deb is out there, hello. This is a good little machine. I love, it's got good traction. I noticed that Joann's, maybe other places too, have sewing machines back on the shelves. If anyone knows of a young sewer who needs their first machine. When I was working at Amazon, we had a lot of machines that were shipped. That was last winter, before COVID. I think what I'll do is I'll finish these up and then maybe call it a day. I just want to try to encourage everyone to keep being strong. It's and acknowledge this is hard. Can be hard. I've been enjoying, like this morning, I was out there by 7 o'clock walking, and I met up with another neighbor who would walk down the street. And for the second time, she turned around. Last time I turned around, and we walked together another way and just caught up. I meant to have a Christmas tree up by now, but we have a fake one. We have two little artificial, I shouldn't call them fake, artificial. They're cute. They sit in little pots, but they're up in the attic, and oh boy. And Bob went to reinforce the door that goes up to the attic, and it swings down, and it's too heavy. I can't lift the door, so I couldn't go up to the attic. So now we're looking for a hydraulic lift for the door. Who's getting their Christmas tree? Oh, Carol, oh good. Finished a quilt top this afternoon, only a lap size, just using up some scraps. Oh, wonderful. Just working on filling the queue for January. Might have a few ready by then for the long arm division. Wonderful. If you become a patron, you can come sew with us, Carol, on Saturdays online. It's very casual, very low key. I love flag sewing. I made these a little bigger. I'm going to trim them all up, which may be a mistake. Probably is a mistake. Hello, Buster. How you doing? Hi. Hello. Hello. What are you licking? Are you licking your chops? What did you have? Hey, let me try this on you. What did you have? Try this on you. Oh, it's going to look so good. Oh, says, no, I don't want this on me. You sure? Here, check this out. Look at you. Look at you. You're such a good boy. Yeah. There you go. Look at you. You want to stand up here? You want to model it? Here, try this. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Look at you. You're looking good. Huh? Yeah. You're on camera, you know. Okay. We'll take it off. Whoops. There you go. There you go. I got you. I got you. There you go. Okay. Between Buffalo and Rochester, New York. Oh, thank you, Carol. Whoa, you are going to get dumped on. So yes, maybe it is possible to send it our way, right? Okay, we're getting there. Sometimes mindless sewing is so therapeutic. All sewing is therapeutic, or at least for me. But look at that. I've got them all sewn up, and I can either cut them with my scissors, or I can take my rotary cutter. And just go right down. Where are you, Buster? There we go. Well, I think, speaking of Amazon, they might be putting a warehouse in Rochester, New York. That's great. I think you're going to see them popping up in lots of places. That's good. They've hired 500,000 people in the last year. It's pretty remarkable that we can order something and it can show up at our doorstep, I think. Pretty remarkable. Anyway, I've yet to have a drone deliver something. That'll be a fun day. And I think we will see it in our lifetime, if we're lucky. Anyway, that was a random comment. Just to summarize, dear Jane, we are on track, to finish this up by our deadline of the end of 2020. We have another month to do the binding. We've made our coats for the dog, and now we're just enjoying some good flag sewing. I hope that you all have had and continue to have a lovely long weekend. Find something that you enjoy doing to take your mind off things that are going on. Take your mind off COVID and do something for someone else. You'll feel really good. And I think that's it. So thanks for joining me, everyone. I'll see you next week right here on Fibercast. And for those of you who are a patron of Simply Colorful, I'll see you tomorrow on Open Sew. Bye, everyone.